Hi there, working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte from Charlotte Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool. And this is episode number 126 of the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, I'm glad to see you back again. I hope that everybody who listens is going to find something to help them on their working homeschool mom journey. And let me just introduce myself for those who are new. I am a coach specifically for new working homeschool moms, and I'll help you figure out the messy beginnings so you can take your first steps with confidence. I also have a wonderful membership where you can get support as a new working homeschool mom. It's the WHM Collective on Patreon, and it's a great place where you can meet other working homeschool moms. I post exclusive content there. You get free coaching as well as a monthly workshop. Lots of great goodies there to really help you on your journey. And if you're interested, please come and join us. You can sign up for free, and I'll leave the link in the show notes. So today's episode is about something that comes up so often that I actually named this podcast after it. And that is how to balance homeschool and work. And that is what I'm going to be talking about today. But I'm not going to be giving you the exact steps to follow. I'm going to be talking about the things that are actually important. It's the mindset. It's how you approach the idea of balancing work and homeschool. All the other stuff will happen easily after that. Trust me, I've seen it time and time and time again. The important thing is to figure out what's really important and to concentrate on the things that need to be concentrated on before you get into the curriculum, before you get into all the other stuff, homeschool rooms, the schedule, all that kind of stuff. I hope you're going to find the episode really useful. And if there's another working homeschool mom who needs some support, then be sure to forward this episode to her. But before we get to the episode, as always, I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It just means that more new working homeschool moms and working homeschool moms can find the podcast, and I can help them to feel supported and encouraged to take those first steps with confidence. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Hi there, and welcome to the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte Jones. I'm your host, and I am a podcaster, a speaker, a writer, and a homeschooling coach, specifically for working homeschool moms. I've been homeschooling my neurodivergent twin boys since 2017, and I've been a working homeschool mom since 2017. So I know it can feel really overwhelming to keep all the balls in the air all the time. So each week I chat about tips and strategies for being a happy and thriving working homeschool mom. I cover things like time management, homeschooling, mindset, and lots of other juicy topics like that. I also speak to awesome and inspiring women who manage to juggle homeschooling and work successfully and find out what their secrets are. And I also welcome experts who can help you on your working homeschool mom journey. I have lots of ways to support you, so be sure to check them out in the show notes. You can download my time audit as your first step to managing your time better. I have a Facebook group for working homeschool moms that you can join as well. And be sure to sign up to my newsletter for weekly updates. And if you need additional support, you can join the WHM Collective, which is a supportive community of working homeschool moms where we delve deeper into topics that are going to help you thrive as a working homeschool mom. Or if you need one-to-one support, be sure to book in a session with me. I'm so excited for you to be here, and I know you'll get so much value out of this episode. So let's get started. Working homeschool mom, I know how overwhelming it can be to choose a math curriculum for your homeschool. That's why I'd like to tell you about the online math curriculum we've been using for years, ctcmath.com. As far as math curriculums go, it has loads of great features that solve lots of the math issues we've had, and I know a lot of homeschooling families have. Here are just a few of the many features that we really like. Questions are adaptive, which means the interactive questions change in difficulty depending on the student's ability. The program uses a smart algorithm that tracks the student's progress and delivers questions based on their exact needs. The student doesn't even know this is happening, helping them to build confidence and master math concepts. Concepts are delivered through video tutorials and summaries which are clear, complete, and easy to follow. It's like having your very own teacher. This ensures your children understand something before they're asked to practice it. And then for us parents, CTC Math has extensive reports which are so valuable in monitoring your child's progress and spotting any gaps. And they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee if this curriculum is not for you and your family. CTC will provide a full refund, no questions asked. But I think the most important thing is a whole lot less stress when it's math time for both parents and kids. You get to outsource math with confidence, and your kids get a fantastic tailor-made program that makes learning and mastering math enjoyable and positive. Visit CTC Math today to start your free trial. CTC Math is also offering you, listener, an amazing special. When you go to ctcmath.com/MLH, you can get a half price discount plus a bonus 6 months for free. That's ctcmath.com/MLH. So today I'm going to be talking about how to balance homeschool and work like a pro. And as I said in the intro, I'm going to be talking about the things that I've found in my experience to be really, really, really important. Like I said, how to balance homeschool and work is something that I get asked time and time again as a working homeschool mom coach. It's come up so often that I even named my podcast after it. So I know that it's something that new and newish moms who work and homeschool worry and fret about. So that's why in today's episode, I want to set your mind at ease. I want to show you that if you want to, you can work and homeschool. It might not be perfectly balanced, and that's really important, but it's definitely manageable. So let's start by talking about what is balance anyway. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, yes, I'm going there. One of the definitions of balance is a situation where different things are given equal importance or are considered or divided equally or fairly. So if you have any tendencies towards perfectionism, like me, then this sounds like heaven on earth, right? It sounds so neat, so tidy, so organized, so unthreatening. But unfortunately, I have to burst your bubble because this is not what being a working homeschool mom is all about. It's much more about knowing what's actually important, checking in often to see what needs your attention, making sure you are feeling balanced and accepting that it's not going to be balanced. So let's jump into each of these different points. So first of all, what's important? Homeschooling has to be a priority. If you're going to balance homeschooling work, then you need to make it a priority. It's going to be really hard to find time if it's not important to you. So I've shared this particular TED Talk before. I'm going to link it in the show notes. And it's by Laura van der Kamp, and it's called How to Gain Control of Your Free Time. It's such a good one, and she uses such a great example to illustrate this point of priorities, of making things that are important a priority. She says, imagine that there's a house emergency, like your boiler goes on the fritz, your geyser bursts, any of those kind of terrible home emergencies that can happen. You will find the time to get it repaired, right? Because it's important, because it's vitally important. And as humans, we always find time for what's important. So making homeschool a priority is basically a priority. Think about your why, write it down, and make sure to check in with your why when times get tough, which can happen. So the next thing that I think is really important is to be intentional. You have to be so intentional when you start work and homeschooling. You need to explore your feelings. You need to figure out why you react in a certain way. You need to think about your beliefs about education and life. Hello, deschooling. It can be hard to face all this stuff, but it's so important to be open to doing so. Otherwise, you're going to be flying on autopilot or be super reactive, and it's not a good environment for a homeschool at all. And more importantly, for a happy working homeschool mom. So apart from this, you also need to be intentionally checking in to see what's working and what isn't. There's so much experimentation when you start out, and it really helps if you learn from your mistakes as you go along the process. So you need to be intentional. You need to be taking notes. You need to be, like I said, investigating, being curious. Why did this happen? Why do I react in this way? Why is this not working? I like to check in every season. I find it's a good time to see if my schedule is still working or if I need to tweak it, if our homeschooling resources are still engaging the kids, if our bucket list from the last season is done and what we want to do in the new one. I love having a bucket list for every season. It's always really good to check in to see what kind of things we want to do as a family. And also, very important, I'm getting enough self-care every day. So that brings me to the next point very nicely, and that is that self-care should always be at the top of your list. I believe you should be striving to feel more balanced, like I said before, to feel more balanced rather than finding this idea of everything having equal time and importance, because that is something you are probably not going to achieve. And it can be frustrating if striving for something that's impossible to achieve. So one of the best ways to feel more balanced is to prioritize self-care, because when you feel rested, you feel healthy, you're drinking enough water, you're eating enough, you have joy in your life, you're doing things that you want to do, you have hobbies, you have things outside of work, outside of homeschooling. That is how you feel more balanced. That is how life is easier to manage. So I know from personal experience that self-care can easily fall to the bottom of the list when you start homeschooling. It worked out really badly for me. I was close to burnout, and I've spoken to many, 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 many moms, homeschooling moms, working homeschool moms who've had the same experience. But I want to implore you to make self-care a priority from the very beginning, as important, if not more important, than finding a curriculum, deciding on a co-op, thinking about your homeschool goals, all those kinds of things. But before you feel overwhelmed by having to add even more tasks to your day, just remember this. You can weave moments of self-care into your day if you don't have time for solid blocks. Some self-care is better than none. And as you feel more comfortable, as you feel more secure in your schedule, more confident, then you can always increase that. But make sure that you're doing something every day for yourself. And finally, acceptance is key. You need to accept that perfect balance will probably not happen. And it actually is quite hard to accept that. But I promise you that it is incredibly freeing. Someone once told me that they aim for a solid B plus and not an A plus plus. And this really spoke to me, because since giving up perfection for actually getting something done, I've started homeschooling, begun my podcast, spoken at international summits, and done lots of things that I never dreamt I could do. So if you're worrying about things being perfect, things being balanced, don't. You will make some mistakes. Sometimes something will need much more attention than something else, but that's okay. You learn from this and you will figure it out in the end. So my final thoughts on how to balance homeschool and work. Figuring out how to balance homeschool and work can be tough. It can take time, but just make sure that your mind and energy are in the right place and you will figure it out. Like I said, you will figure it out. But another thing which I didn't mention, but which is also a really important step in this whole process, is deschooling. So I'm going to be speaking in depth in my membership workshop about deschooling, because before all these other tasks, you need to be open to all the possibilities out there, and deschooling is an integral step. So be sure to sign up to get access to the workshop. It's really going to give you the solid foundation so that you can take those first steps with confidence. Deschooling is so important. Like I said, you can find the link in the show notes. And as always, if you want more one-to-one support, if you want something kind of tailor-made for you, then be sure to reach out and book a coaching session with me. I'm always here to help, and I really, really want to support you on your working homeschool mom journey in whatever that looks like for you. So be sure to reach out and let's have a chat. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Please let me know what your greatest takeaway was. You can reach out to me on Instagram at charlottejones247 or on my website at mylittlehomeschool.com, or you could even drop me an email at hello@mylittlehomeschool.com. I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It will help spread the news about being a working homeschool mom, and in that way we can build this wonderful supportive community together. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, take care.